Hello, I'm Neon Geode, and welcome to episode number 1 of Geode Adventures Let's Play. I'm excited here to have you along on this journey to show you my long-term survival world, my forever world. This video is 4 years in the making. I started my world in March of 2021. It was started with the idea of tracking the progress. The main way I decided to track that progress was through maps, and there's a lot of ways to track the progress in your long-term worlds. But another way now is to create some videos and kind of track the progress of my world that way, and I'm excited to share my world with you. So what we have here are kind of my hanging map signs, the newest build in this world. But like I said, 4 years in the making. On the left, we have the world as it existed in March of 2021 before any changes were made to the world. And then on the right, we have the world as it exists now. And then going up, I plan to add more hanging signs here on the left to kind of give snapshots of the world, every couple of years once there's been some significant progress. And so that's how we are. Kind of the core idea here was that I wanted to wall off kind of a core section of the world where I focused my building activities. And then, yeah, so I guess that's the first thing we'll take a look at here is the wall. So originally this was a black stone wall all around this core section of the world. I've been working to replace it. I've replaced the ocean sections with some rope buoys. Here is the village, mostly untouched. And then kind of the first thing though I did, this is a spawn point of the world, so that's where I spawned in, right where I was standing at the start of the video, and then I swam over here. So I picked out this seed because I liked this kind of area over here. Originally, where the neon geode here is now, there was a circular hole in the ground. And the very first thing I did, because I was trying to get a pristine map of the world rather than building an above ground base, I dug right into the side of the hill here and created my starter base. But it's also where I spend most of my time now. It's my home. It's cozy, and I don't plan on moving out for some mega base or anything like that. Here is the bedroom, kind of the core storage areas, places for special items here. Here's the dragon egg, some mob heads there. Back here we have kind of our little enchanting room with a spot for all the lapis storage and all the unenchanted books. Over here we have a grindstone and an anvil to help out with enchanting, as well as our ender chest. Here is one of the two OG villagers that kind of wander around my base here. This is the toolsmith that I originally got all of the pickaxes I needed for mining. I would get them from this guy here. Around the corner we have kind of the special items storage area. So here's where I store some extra like pickaxes and extra armor that's enchanted and stuff like that. Store all my enchanted books in here. Over here we have the little potion brewing area with some storage and a cauldron. And then around the corner is the nether portal, which we will return to tour the nether. And then over here, kind of a door opening out onto the lazy river, the lazy underground river, which we'll also be returning to. And then back here somewhere, oh, there he is our other OG villager. He's a shepherd, and This villager, one of my favorite early game ways to get emerald is to do trading dyes, especially if you have a good source of bone meal, say a skeleton farm or something like that. You can easily use the two high flowers to turn those into dyes very efficiently and get a lot of emeralds that way. And then down this ladder is where we have my main storage room. Everything's kind of marked out with the items so I can see very quickly where I have left all of my items. And then underneath here, if we drop down, there is a massive kind of tunnel system under my world. I actually went down here. That was the very first thing I did in the world after I made my little base in the hill, was go down here um, and build out this kind of grid system, which is kind of aligned with the maps. And then I have the maps at each of these intersections when I want to go and update my maps to have the latest and greatest. That's that. And then this was a 1.16 world when we started, so another update pre-caves and cliffs. But once it got updated to caves and cliffs and the world height was increased, then I also dug down some more, and there is also a grid system in the deep slate layer. So with that, let's head on back up this ladder. And then we can kind of talk about kind of the area around my base here, because obviously, my base is kind of lacking some of the amenities. So kind of the way I do it, rather than one mega base, I have a number of different buildings all around, each serving a particular function, and then it's very easy for me to remember where everything is. First, it is nighttime, so let's go to sleep. So kind of originally, let me get rid of that fella over there. Oh, I tried. He looks damaged. So I kind of had this plan that I'm going to have like a courtyard surrounded by these buildings that are kind of marked out with these kind of glass areas here. That plan has kind of changed over time. Originally, there were going to be a set of towers. Originally, where the geode here was a tower. I don't like to take buildings down. I'd like to preserve the history, but it was a very ugly tower. It was nothing special, so I decided to replace it. There's also a second tower here, which I tore down and replaced, and then after that, I built this church. So this stone structure around it was not there. It was just this church. It is a home for my cleric villagers. But I felt like this church was nothing special either. And it didn't really fit the vibe of this home area or the way it was going. So I've also decided to tear this church down. But after that, I really plan to preserve the legacy of all of the different buildings that I have and not tear stuff down. Like I said, these are my cleric villagers. I trade rotten flesh with them to get emeralds. And we even have an OG villager here that trades me glowstone dust instead of glowstone blocks. But this, I'm kind of in the progress of replacing it, so that'll be one of the upcoming projects here, is to tear down that church and build up the decorations on the inside for my cleric villagers. But we have this we have this building here with stained glass windows on each side. We have rotten flesh on that side. We have the bottle of enchanting on this side. Lapis lazuli on this side, and then glowstone dust on the other side, as well as kind of a ender pearl themed dome over the top. And then the ender pearl shows on our maps. Um, so yeah, kind of we'll show what's in these other ones here, but one of the other newest builds over here is the cake room. This had been kind of a place where I just thrown my allays after I got my allays, and then when trying to get all the achievements, I built this kind of note block floor with the cake and the cakes on the side. So that's kind of my latest room. We'll eventually add all of the CDs, all the music discs, I guess. We'll add those in here, and that'll be the place where we come to play our music discs. And then, yeah, so kind of continuing the tour of this base area is one of the earliest parts of this world as well. In the side of this hill is the laboratory. This is where I go to do various redstone contraptions. We have some little mini farms here for getting bamboo or sugarcane or kelp. We have I have like a smelting station here, a little flower farm, as well as a little storage area for all of my different redstone items. So this is the laboratory. And then up above the laboratory here, one of the more recent builds in the world, as you can see by the floors, using one of the more recent woods here. This is the color room. It's where I store all my banners. It's where I have kind of the shulker station here. So you can tell it was kind of pre-crafting or auto-crafting, and you'll see that in a minute here. I hit the button, and it's going to shoot out all the ingredients for a shulker box, and then I can choose to get whatever color I want that shulker box to be. It will spit that out the water stream, and then come right over here to then craft that. If I was doing it now, yeah, I would do something with auto crafters, but I thought the water stream was kind of a neat idea. And then we have a little station here. This should yeah, that should spit out a water bottle if I need to refill the cauldron here. And then I can put the water bottle back away. And then this is kind of a leather dyeing station, so any leather armor I get goes into these shulker boxes here. And then eventually we'll do some stuff with dyed leather around the corner here. There's a little sheep farm on the top of the hill, so all of the colored wool gets harvested and goes into here. And then we have a little room over here for all of the different banners that we have. I've done the nautical alphabet, as well as a just a normal alphabet, so that's what we use for different signs in this world. And yeah, let me go out on top of this so we can kind of take a look up at the top here. There's a little sheep pen, but we have the automated sheep farm here, as well as a little wheat farm up here. That's useful for breeding all the sheep. And then I think we should take a look at the color room from afar. And I think a good place to do that would be from down here. This is my fishing hut. So originally, this was just a plain island. I would go out here, especially early on in the world, and I would just come out here with a bed and some torches to light up the island, and I would fish, especially in the rain. And early on, rather than making a food farm or doing other stuff, like I like doing fishing for enchanted books and for food, and it's really easy to get a max enchanted fishing rod. So here we have, yeah, if we ever do any fisher villagers, this is where they will call home. And then in here we have kind of all the storage for different water themed items. And where should we go to next? I think that should be the ocean monument. So one of the nice features of the world here is there is an ocean monument right by Spawn. So this was one of the early mega projects in this world, was draining the ocean monument. That's always a big but rewarding project to do. You get to see the entire structure of the ocean monument. So let's head on inside here. I have, kind of drained the whole thing out, and then you get to see like the entire structure. Yeah, let me know in the comments, like, what should we build inside the ocean monument here? Because right now all the rooms are just empty. And then early on in this world, I had an idea, which was I was going to capture an Elder Guardian. And let me tell you, it's absolutely kind of a pain to do, but it's a fun and rewarding thing to do. So I built this rail line here, got a Elder Guardian into a into a minecart, brought him all the way along over here, and then dropped him down into this oversized fishbowl. And we seem to have landed inside. There's a little little castle like you would see in a fishbowl. But as you might be noticing, there's not actually an Elder Guardian. So somehow it's kind of a fickle thing, but somehow he died. I don't know how. He doesn't really need air to breathe. It's kind of a mystery, but he died, and so we have a little memorial here to our Elder Guardian. And with that, it looks like it is time to sleep again. Time to sleep again. Come on, son. You can go down. There we go. All right, looking back across, there's the geode. Looking back across, we can see one of the more towering builds in this. This is the Nether Island. I've covered this entire island with netherrack. I've built this bridge here and then built this tower. This tower is a giant netherwart farm. This kind of farm works really well versus one that's automated with water. With netherwart, you really want to use a most of your time is going to be spent replanting it, so you really want to use a fortune tool to harvest it. So a fortune hoe works great because then it's not going to easily break the soil or the walls, and you can build it out exactly to the kind of reach limit of the tool itself. So I have lots of netherwart. A lot of the netherwart has gone into making these red nether bricks that you'll see in a lot of the parts of the world. Nice upgrade from the just plain nether bricks. And then up here we have the smelting room. So I have built a lava farm here. And then I have these little kind of auto smelters where you can put, the blocks to be smelted there, your buckets of lava here, and then it'll get auto smelted and come out the bottom. So we have this, we have our little lava pool here up at the top of the tower and some more smelters. And this is a great vantage point to take in all of the different things that we've seen, all the different landmarks we've seen so far. So moving on. I think it is the next thing we ought to go to here is kind of go across that little bridge we saw down there and head over here and take a look at the different villager tech in this world. So in this little island over here, I built a little villager breeder. We have a carrot farm. We can feed them the carrots, and then all the villagers end up down here where I can pull them out with a minecart. And then up here by our other carrot farm, we have the villager curing hut. So this in here, this button right here on the side here will actually, there's a redstone line running to that island. It will put a villager into a minecart and bring him up the tracks here, and he'll land right here. And this is very useful. Then I can, especially with the librarian villagers, I can re-roll by breaking the stand and replacing it, re-roll to get a good trade. Once I've gotten the trade that I want and locked in the trade, then I can press the button to send him along to the next station where I can flip this lever here. He'll get turned into a zombie villager, and then I can flip it back and a arrow will come down and I can feed him a golden apple and a potion arrow to cure him. And then once he's cured, I can put him in a minecart and send him on his way this way. At this point, I will take him. I will put the villager into a boat, and we will bring them. We'll bring them all the way down here to the lazy river, where we have a lot of our different villagers. Here are our very most important villagers behind this obsidian wall. These are the set. At one point, it was a complete set. It's not a complete set anymore because of some of the more recent enchantments. But we have a set of villagers wandering around. They were meant to stay in stations, but they just couldn't get them to link up with the right bookcases, or not bookcases, the right lecterns. And so I had to let them all run around, but I have name tagged them to be able to easily find the right villager that I want to trade for their book. So this is our set of villagers. Hop back into the boat here. This door here is actually the basement underneath our cleric villagers. This goes up into the church that I'm going to be tearing down soon. This is the basement of that building. Here, that is the door leading to my cozy little base there. This leads directly into the geode itself. This door, this was just kind of a staging ground. It's just kind of empty right now, but it will be a basement along with the next door here. It will be a basement for the library I'm planning to build. So here we have my OG librarian villagers before before the other set that we just saw were created. These were the ones that I created before that. I want to get them out of this basement and let them wander around freely around their home, since they saved me a lot of enchanting trouble over the years by giving me access to those trades. And then we have a door here leading to toolsmiths and weaponsmiths, and then a door down at the end of the lazy river leading to the cake room and the allays. So that is the lazy river. Oh, I am going the wrong way. So you can see cake room, allays. So let's go back the other way that I meant to. And let's find a ladder up to get out of here. Yeah, I kind of forgot to show the outside view of the color room. So let's take a look at that. So that's the color room there from the outside. Yeah, so there's the sheep farm up on the hill, up in the air here. This is a kind of general purpose mob farm. Just kind of all of the different mobs with chambers for killing them, and a little storage system in here. What else we have over here, up in the sky over there, is kind of the one of the things I'm really proud of, because the other ones are other people's designs, but this was my own design for a squid farm, but unfortunately something is kind of broken with it. But the idea is you kind of stand here, and there's a little system for shooting down the squid ink, and it would land in the water and kind of flow into you in the center. And it was a nice, fun way to get squid ink that way. A lot more different farms in this world, so kind of down here we have a slime farm. Ah, yes, got it. That would have been bad if I didn't land on the slime. We have our massive slime farm with windows for viewing into it. We also have on this island over here a little turtle egg farm, and turtle eggs are useful for other sorts of farms as well. And then we have, what else? We have a cactus farm over here. This is a farm for doing a crimson and warp fungus. It used to function as a bone meal farm, but they nerfed that. And what else? We have a iron farm over there. We have a new bone meal farm there. We have right there a little place for doing ice farming here. So these are kind of waterlogged stairs so they don't freeze. And then once you mine all this, the water fills back in. We have kind of a spot here where I do all my manual tree farming. And it's time for me to sleep. So that's where we do our manual tree farming. Over kind of around this hill. And right there. Around this hill. And down here we have an amethyst farm. There's a nice nice. Oh, that's not even the amethyst farm. That's a cave. I'm going into the wrong section, clearly. Oh no, there we go. Ow. Yeah, so down here we have storage room for the amethyst farm, as well as some smelting, and then it's all kind of water logs. So you get in here, and then you can take your axe and kind of swim around and get easy access to all of the amethyst. Okay, and a little what are these things called? Conduit to keep me from drowning. So let's try to find the exit door. There we go. All right, so I have climbed back out of the amethyst mines finally, and we are ready to continue our tour. So I'm gonna fly around kind of the home area here, and we'll just kind of take a look. Up there we have a drowned farm for tridents. Down here we have a variety of different biomes. We have savanna, we have jungle, we have kind of this sandy desert area here that I have mined out for sand for making glass. We have ice spikes over there, more jungle, and yeah, so I kind of chose this seed for the different variety of ice, different variety of biomes. Further out, there are some like ice spikes next to uh, like mesa formations that are some really cool. I'd like to do like a fire and ice themed build at some point. But yeah, that's the base area of the world. That's most of the main things in the overworld. So I think it's time now to go and take a trip to the Nether. Dude, come on. So on the other side of the geode, on the nether side, we have a little extension of my base on the nether side, little storage area here. Down here, we have a little room for doing basalt farming with lava and blue ice. And down here, we have another little storage area, as well as down that hall is another portal which leads to the to the drained ocean monument. And then up here have kind of an area where I can go to farm magma cubes, as well as dry out sponges. Up here is kind of the main area where I mine the blackstone for the original walls. And then kind of down here, we have a little pathway down this side of the pathway. I have a couple of nether portals. One goes down to the tunnels underneath the world, and one goes to the laboratory. And this way we have another pathway. If you follow it out and then go another like 500 blocks past that, you'll eventually get to the Nether Fortress. So climbing down this ladder, we'll find one of the mega projects of this world. So once we get here and open up, we have kind of this big area that I am mining out. That's about 80% done. This corresponds to the map area in the overworld that's kind of surrounded by the walls. And I want to do something here. I want to do kind of like something that represents the overworld, kind of like a map within the nether. I don't know exactly how that's going to work yet, but kind of like a diorama of the overworld, is what I want here. So yeah, if we go this way, and let's see if I can do it. Yes, it's not always a given. Down this road, way down this road, I think it's going to be time for a little fast forward here. But I'm going to walk down and we're going to go to that nether fortress and the blaze farm down there. Okay, so we are here just around the corner, and up this ladder is the Blaze Farm. Kind of did a thing with kind of a gradient pattern on the glass here on the Blaze Farm. They'll spawn from the spawner, come down here and get killed in a trident killer, and then we collect everything underneath, and that is the Blaze Farm. And going back. And we are back, so straight ahead is that large hollowed out room, but down this corner is the subway tunnel, otherwise marked as the highway here. This is the other mega project in the world. This is a subway tunnel, multimodal, so we have ice for blue ice. It's large enough to fly an elytra through here, as well as we have rails, but I still need to power some of them, and I have path along the side. I want to breed some fast horses and have horses that I can take through the nether. This is a 2,000 plus long block long rather subway tunnel connecting all the main areas of the world. So it connects kind of the home area of the world, but then we have other stuff alongside it here. Down this path is an area that goes out to a large mesa biome where I go to collect sand for glass. Down this tunnel is the gold farm, and that is definitely worth checking out. So we have kind of this hollowed out area here that was going through, I kind of mined out through the lava, but then we have kind of a standard gold farm design here where we have spawning platforms. Yeah, like a lot of things in this world, it's way overbuilt. We have glass walls surrounding the side. We have pretty much the ceiling and the floor, and all of everything in here are all covered in glass. I definitely want to come back in here and add some like glass trees and other glass stuff into my gold farm. So then going back this way, we'll get back to the main subway tunnel. Okay, so if we head further down this way, I definitely want to like add different decorations and stuff in throughout the tunnel. There's a lot of space here that can be used for almost anything, and for all of these different destinations on the tunnel, I want to kind of decorate the entrances to them. This one here goes out to a mushroom island, and then this one here goes out to a couple of different things. So let's cross our fingers here that it is daytime when I come out. And it is not, so it will go to right to sleep. That's why we torch up the island a bit. Over there is a raid farm. It kind of used to be automated, but obviously they changed the mechanics more recently. Um, Underneath this island, there's actually kind of a cool thing, which is a stronghold, which is exposed to the water here. I think I could do some really cool things with that. And then on the other side of the island over here, we have some ice, but underneath the ice is actually an ocean monument. So we'll go back through this nether portal and then through the other nether portal to see the ocean monument right over here. This one is not drained out like the other one, but it is completely emptied out inside. So we have a big open area. I'd like to do some stuff with that. So this is definitely another area in the overworld which I'd like to do some stuff with, kind of outside the main area. Ow, that was unintentional. So if we go back this way, over on this side of the tunnel, very carefully weave my way through there. Over here is a bastion, and it's the type of bastion with a magma cube spawner, so this will eventually become a froglight farm, but for now I've just like harvested a lot of the blackstone from this bastion to help make the walls of the subway tunnel. But yeah, if we like peek out through here, we can see the somewhere over there is the magma cube spawner, and then over here is kind of a big area that I've hollowed out that we could do something with as well. Now going back to the main subway tunnel. I guess off of the main subway tunnel there is another nether fortress, and there are two blaze spawners close enough that I want to make a double blaze farm there for blaze rods, so I don't have to go all the way out to the other blaze farm. So that's here. But then, ow. If we go kind of all the way down near the end of the tunnel, we're actually going to find a pathway that leads out to another large mushroom island. And this is a really... the other one's not that big, but this one is very large, and I have some special plans for that. So I want to show this mushroom island. And it is a little bit of a hike, so I think at some point I will extend the ice highway out this way. I thought I was done with the ice highway. It's such a huge project. Like, I always underestimate how big these massive mega projects really are until I get into it. But I think given that we're going to be out here a lot, I think it makes sense to extend the ice tunnel this way. All right, so I think I need to swap out my rockets for a fresh stack of rockets. Here we have a very large mushroom island, and kind of like the home area, I'm going to map out the starting state as well as the current state in order to track the progress. But this is, it's like 500, almost 600 blocks wide in each direction. So this will be one of the next mega projects. Will be actually flattening this entire island. And the reason for that is I want to have a kind of creative building area. So it'll almost be like a flat world where we have this bright green grass and we can just do all sorts of random builds here, day and night without having to worry about mobs spawning in or hurting us. It'll be kind of the creative island is what I'm calling it. So I am super excited for that. And we go back out to the tunnel, we're going to see the way this tunnel was constructed. So this was not mined out by hand, it was actually done with a tunnel bore machine. And there's some good tutorials out there for building these things. It's a very efficient way using dynamite to clear out a large amount of area and get all of the netherite that you could ever need. So at the very end of this subway tunnel, here behind the glass walls we have the tunnel bore machine, and one of the upcoming builds I want to do in this area is to actually create a little museum to the building of this tunnel. This was a multi-year project that I went away from and came back to and went away from and came back to multiple times over, and I think it's worth commemorating it with a museum. But now to take the fast way home, and the blue ice tunnel is really super fast. We're going at negative 2,000, so that's negative 16,000 in the overworld, all the way to positive 1,000 in the overworld in just a matter of about 30 seconds. So this blue ice pathway is super efficient way of traveling around the world. And we'll leave the boat there because that's where I am expecting it to be. Last but not least, over this way, if you head out that way, there's kind of a long tunnel that kind of heads out to nowhere. There's some other stuff we'll take a look at some point in the future, but down this way is kind of the closest stronghold to the spawn point. I do want to kind of from above in the overworld, I want to kind of dig that whole area out so that we can fly into it without having to go into the nether. I also need to patch up my tunnel there, I see. But this has pretty much directly to the end portal room in the stronghold. This little bedroom there, and around this corner is the end portal. And let's hop on into the end. Last but not least, there's not a whole lot done in the end. I have a beacon set up to help mine some obsidian from the towers to get obsidian, and then we have over here. Did I just anger somebody? I think I'm probably pretty rude here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. my God. That was not good. And I went right over to the edge. We are back at my spawn point, no bed. Yeah, let me recollect that stuff in a minute, but oh boy. Um, this really is a nice way to come into the world at night, seeing it all lit up, seeing all of the stuff that I've built around my home area. But hopefully I can get back through here without getting murdered too badly and collect all of my stuff. Ow. Come back up the ladder, kind of the normal way to get into the Neon Geode, and have a nice nap. And head on back to the first to Nether and then to the end, and hope too much of my stuff did not fall right over the edge. Uh, All right, and we're back. And this is why I do not play hardcore, because sometimes I'm just not very good at the game. I'm very slow to get on the rocket or put um, put my totem into my offhand or pretty much anything. But luckily, I've recovered almost all of my stuff. I have the sword, I have the pickaxe, I have all of the armor and the elytra. I did lose, I think, a shovel and a bed, maybe something else, I don't know. It's really unfortunate, but yeah, kind of, the plan here eventually is to, like, you know, get all of the, little end island gateways in place, beat the dragon, however many times it takes to do that. And then we have like another ice pathway that goes out to the end islands. There's a shulker farm out there. And I've explored one other direction and then a couple other directions I have not explored at all, hoping eventually they do an end update. Kind of holding out for that, so hopefully that comes soon. And then, yeah, once I've defeated the dragon however many times to get all of the end gateways, then I'll do some sort of end base out here. I kind of want to do something underneath the island. I'm thinking, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what I should do. Yeah, let's hop back on over to the overworld. Obviously slept in that bed, but let's take one last look at the maps, one last look at the progress that I've been able to make in 4 years. You can kind of see, missed my landing. Let's get back up here. You can kind of see right here, yeah, but Here's the Nether Island. Here's the neon geode right in the crosshairs there. Here's all the different stuff around the home area, and I am so excited to keep making progress on this world. Um, yeah, thank you for coming along with me on this journey. If you like what you see, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And yeah, thank you, and we'll see you next time.